Tom Holland's incarnation of Spider-Man is swinging back into theaters in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. It's been 10 years since we first met the MCU version of Spidey, and a lot has happened along the way. But while the world may have forgotten that anyone ever knew Peter Parker, we have not. So let's dive into our refresher on the MCU Spider-Man story so far. A native of New York City's Queensboro, Peter Parker was raised by his witty and caring Aunt May and his Uncle Ben, and we have no real idea what Ben was like, but hey look, those are his initials. Also has decreed retroactive continuity by Spider-Man Homecoming director John Watts, Peter attended the Stark Expo in 2010 as a kid, where he had his first, very brief encounter with Tony Stark, aka Iron Man.
Nice work, kid.
At some point as a teenager, a couple of key events happen for Peter that have never been depicted or fully explained. First off, he got bitten by a spider, one which we assume was radioactive or scientifically altered in some way, given Peter received spider-like powers in the process.
How much did it hurt? The spider's dead, Ned.
And second off, Uncle Ben died. We still don't know the specifics, but given the reason those events were skipped over was that general audiences already knew Spider-Man's origins, we can likely fill in some blanks and assume it went something like this, or this. Unless you ask Joe Russo, who says maybe not so much. Regardless, young Peter came out of this turbulent period inspired to take on the costume persona of Spider-Man, using a flimsy homemade costume essentially made from a sweatsuit while sporting impressive web shooters of his own design thanks to his natural scientific talent. During the Avengers Civil War between Iron Man and Captain America, feeling his side needed reinforcements, Tony Stark used the YouTube videos of Spider-Man sightings to track down and recruit Peter under the guise of him winning a Stark Industries internship. Continuing to protect his double life from May. Brought to Germany by Tony's trusted friend, Happy Hogan, Peter was given a new Stark design suit, boasting a much sleeker look and many advanced elements, including an onboard AI to assist him, which Peter calls Karen, and a hell of a lot of web shooter variations.
You have 576 possible web shooter combinations.
Mr. Stark really overdid it.
At the big showdown between Iron Man and Captain America's teams at a Berlin airport, despite his youth and his inexperience, Peter held his own against the likes of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey, that would make a nifty title.
You have a metal arm?
And even garnered respect from Steve Rogers, Captain America, for his gumption.
You got hard, kid. Where you from?
Queens?
Brooklyn.
And he even helped figure out a way to take down Ant-Man when Scott Lang went giant-sized. In the aftermath, Peter was eager for more big-time superheroics alongside Tony and the Avengers, only for Tony to show him the literal door, leaving Happy as his contact.
That's not a hug, I'm just grabbing the door for you. We're not there yet.
Both Tony and Happy went radio silent in the months that followed, during which Peter went back to mostly small-scale crime fighting in Queens, albeit with his new suit.
Hey, could you hold this for a second? Thanks.
In his daily life at Midtown School of Science and Technology, Peter nursed a huge crush on his fellow academic decathlon team member, Liz Allen, while he and his best friend Ned had a lighthearted, antagonistic dynamic with another member of the team, the sardonic Michelle Jones Watson, who preferred to be called MJ.
You guys are losers.
But then why do you sit with us?
Because I don't have any friends.
Who actually had a bit of a thing for Peter, but she kept that to herself. Initially, no one but Tony and Happy knew Peter's secret identity until he accidentally revealed he's Spider-Man to Ned, who was excited by the possibility of becoming his
Guy in the chair.
Even as Peter was delighted to find that there might be a chance for him and Liz, his greatest threat so far surfaced in the form of Adrian Toombs, aka the Vulture.
Business is good.
Once a successful salvage worker, Adrian had found himself pushed aside by the Stark Industries-backed Department of Damage Control. And now he and his team were stealing and smuggling black market items from superhero battles to sell for profit, with Adrian himself using a flying exosuit created from alien Chitauri technology left over from the Avengers Battle of New York. While in pursuit of Toombs, Peter ended up saving his friends from a near catastrophe at the Washington Monument, which expanded Spider-Man's fandom and gratitude from his unknowing classmates.
Thank you, Spider-Man.
A fandom which ironically included the obnoxious Flash Thompson, who loved to mock Peter Parker.
Sup, Penis Parker?
Peter's ongoing conflicts with Toombs brought him into contact with another criminal, the scorpion-tattooed Mac Gargan, who came out of the experience scarred and seeking revenge against Spider-Man. And some major mistakes Peter made along the way also got him into hot water with Tony Stark, who had already warned Peter to back off on tracking the Vulture and ended up taking his suit back from him.
This is all I have. I'm nothing without this suit.
If you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it, okay?
Peter's subsequent moping got a rebound, both because he and Ned finished putting together their sweet Death Star Lego set, and because he and Liz were going to Homecoming together. But then, in what stands out as one of the best reveals in the MCU ever, Peter was shocked to discover that Vulture was in fact Liz's dad, with the savvy Adrian likewise quickly realizing who his daughter's date was.
And don't you ever interfere with my business again. Because if you do, I'll kill you and everybody you love.
But when they had a furious battle soon after, with Peter wearing his original suit to stop Adrian from stealing Avengers tech, Peter ended up saving Adrian's life, which left Adrian indebted to Peter and keeping his secret identity to himself even after he was sent to prison, while Liz and her mom left New York. Tony, impressed by Peter's actions, ended up officially offering him membership in the Avengers, only for Peter to decline, deciding he was better off staying with his friends and finishing school for the time being as a more grounded, friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, though Tony still returned his previous suit to him. Oh, and then Peter had to contend with May accidentally finding out his secret identity.
What the f?
Things certainly didn't stay grounded for Peter for too long though, because when one of the alien tyrant Thanos' ships arrived in New York, Spider-Man jumped in to assist Iron Man.
Hey, man. What's up, Mr. Stark?
Kid, where'd you come from?
And ended up grabbing on for dear life when the bad guys were escaping in their ship with a knocked out Doctor Strange.
Mr. Stark, I'm being beamed up.
Given an Iron Spider suit upgrade by Tony that saved his life in the depleting oxygen, Peter then found himself in his first outright cosmic adventure, stowing away despite Tony's orders and traveling to the planet Titan while meeting both Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy along the way. Oh, and because this is kind of an all hands on deck scenario, this happened.
Kid, you're an Avenger now.
Which all sounds great, except that this combined group of heroes failed to stop Thanos, and well, Spider-Man freaking died. He was far from alone, of course, because Thanos succeeded in gathering all the Infinity Stones and used their powers to snap his finger and kill half the universe in the process, Peter included.
Stark? I don't feel so good.
It was all pretty traumatic for us watching, and geez, this poor kid got maybe the most heartbreaking dusting of them all. For 5 years, Peter was among the ex-living until the Avengers managed to gather the Infinity Stones again and bring everyone Thanos killed back, Peter included, who got an emotional reunion with Tony.
What are you doing? Oh, this is nice.
Peter joined in on the mega battle against Thanos and his forces, playing a role in keeping the new Infinity Gauntlet away from their enemy. Ultimately, the good guys won, but at the cost of Tony's life, as Peter saw his mentor sacrifice himself to save the universe. Peter was then among the many that were trying to fit back into their long interrupted lives, which meant that he and many of his likewise snapped classmates, including MJ and Ned, returned to the high school years they never finished. And 8 months later, in the midst of an overseas school trip, Peter was approached by Nick Fury for a couple of big reasons.
You're a very difficult person to contact, Spider-Man.
One was a gift left for him by Tony, a pair of glasses connected to the AI called Edith, which gave Peter control of Tony's global security network, including its defense satellites. And the other was a new ally that Fury had made in the form of Quentin Beck, a superhero sorcerer the media dubs Mysterio, who claimed to be hunting elemental creatures that destroyed his Earth in another part of the multiverse.
I'm sorry, you're saying there's a multiverse? It's insane.
But in truth, Beck was not only very much from Peter's Earth, he was an ex-Stark employee who felt burned by his now-deceased boss and, teamed with likewise-minded Stark-hating allies, was using drone-based technology, both to create incredibly lifelike projections that could fake superhuman attacks, and weapons that could actually cause the damage needed to sell these battles and their fallout. Successfully presenting himself as just the sort of fatherly mentor figure Peter is seeking, he managed to goad Peter into giving him control of Edith, with Peter believing that Quentin would use the technology for the good that Tony intended.
See, that wasn't so hard.
During all of this, burgeoning mutual feelings between Peter and MJ came to the surface, and the two began a romantic relationship, even as she revealed she actually figured out a secret quite a while ago.
MJ,
I'm Spider-Man.
What?
After Peter realized Quentin's trickery, Mysterio intended to not only kill Peter, but also anyone close to him who may know the truth, which included MJ and Ned.
Do you though?
MJ!
All while making his biggest move yet to be seen as Earth's new beloved hero, in the form of a devastating attack on London that he would be perceived as putting an end to. Peter ended up thwarting Mysterio's plan and saved London, and Quentin was killed by a shot from one of his own drones. Except he left a very cruel parting gift before he died, in the form of a message sent to online news organization The Daily Bugle and its owner, J. Jonah Jameson, which not only made it look like Spider-Man was the one responsible for the attack in London, but also revealed to the world Spidey's greatest secret.
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
What the
That's right, folks.
Predictably, the aftermath of this sends Peter's life into absolute chaos. The accusations that he was behind Mysterio's attack get him and his loved ones first questioned by Damage Control, and though those charges are dropped thanks to securing the services of this dude...
How did you just do that? I'm a really good lawyer.
He can't live a normal life anymore because everyone knows he's Spider-Man, and some still believe he's guilty of Mysterio's crimes. Making things worse, being close to him has direct ramifications for both Ned and MJ, as all three of them are rejected by MIT because of the controversy swirling around Peter. Desperate to undo this, he turns to Doctor Strange for help, who agrees to cast a spell that will make the world forget Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But Peter's own last-minute rambling request for Strange to make some exceptions for those he's closest to, so they'll still know the truth, ends up damaging the delicate spell as it's being cast. The result of the botched spell begins to draw anyone towards Peter who ever knew Peter Parker as Spider-Man, even beyond the boundaries of space and time, as proven when multi-dimensional Spidey foes arrive in the form of Dr. Octopus, Sandman, and Green Goblin from the universe depicted in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and then the Lizard and Electro from the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies.
Sir?
So what? Y'all just gonna stand here and act like I ain't butt-ass naked?
I am.
No.
After Peter learns that most of these guys were plucked from their universes at the time of their deaths, and encouraged by May's selfless influence, he becomes determined to try to save them, whether that be by helping them deal with their mental issues, taking away their powers, or both, since their powers often cause them to become mentally imbalanced. And that means preventing Doctor Strange from reversing his spell in order to give him more time by trapping Strange in the mirror dimension while he worked to help save the others. Dr. Octopus's mental imbalance, caused by the fried chip in his tentacle contraption, was soon fixed, and Otto Octavius returned to his true, caring self.
It's me.
But it wasn't so easy with the others, especially after the more kindly Norman Osborn's Green Goblin persona took over again, leading to a ferocious battle between Peter and Norman. A battle that tragically ends with Norman fatally wounding May. But shortly before she dies, May gives Peter a crucial piece of wisdom.
You have a gift. You have power. And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
With Peter reeling from May's death, MJ and Ned make use of the sling ring that they took from Doctor Strange to try to find their friend, only to accidentally bring two different multiversal Peters to them instead, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, who also found themselves transported to this world by the spell.
Great, it's just some random guy. Hello?
Peter, determined to find and kill Norman, meets his other older selves, who let him know that they've already learned harsh lessons about the futility of seeking vengeance.
I got what I wanted. It didn't make it better.
The three Spider-Mans, or is it Spider-Men, then used their scientific expertise to work together to finish the various cures for the Goblin, Lizard, Sandman, and Electro, before goading most of them into a confrontation at the Statue of Liberty. One by one, they managed to administer each cure, receiving help from Doc Ock along the way, even as a none too pleased Doctor Strange returns as well. But when Green Goblin makes a late entrance, things once more take a darker turn after he very nearly kills MJ.
Poor Peter. Too weak to send me home to die.
No. I just want to kill you myself.
Attaboy.
A rage-filled Peter very nearly killed the Green Goblin until he was stopped by one of his other selves, as the Goblin was cured and Norman was once more himself. However, the spell was now completely out of control and unstoppable, threatening to break down the barriers between realities in a way that could be truly cataclysmic. Desperate to solve the problem that he had set into motion, Peter asked Strange to go to the extreme lengths needed to stop it by casting one more spell that would make everyone not just forget that he was Spider-Man, but that Peter Parker existed at all, wiping him completely from everyone's memories.
Do it.
Strange reluctantly agreed, and as the other two Peters and their respective foes returned to their universes, Peter had to hastily tell MJ and Ned what was about to happen, while promising them that he would make sure to find them and remind them once more of their lives together.
Just wait. Wait, tell me when you see me again.
Except that's not what he ended up doing, because though he prepared a letter to read that would explain the situation, when he went to see MJ and Ned, they were celebrating their acceptance to MIT, and Peter was once more reminded that knowing him was so disruptive to their lives. So he instead set out on his own, getting an apartment and making himself a new homemade costume, now lacking any real emotional support system or Stark-based tech, but still fighting crime as Spider-Man. And that's the MCU Spider-Man story so far. Oh, but let's mention a couple of lingering loose ends related to a dreaded realm known as Sony's Spider-Man universe, because as it turns out, Eddie Brock was also temporarily drawn into Peter's universe by Strange's first spell, though he was sent back before he could ever encounter Spider-Man. However, he did leave behind a bit of the Venom symbiote, which was last seen sliding along this bar top in Mexico. And then there's the Vulture, a cool Spidey villain who was given the unfair fate of next being seen in a Morbius mid-credit scene. For some wacky reason, when things were going to hell with the other realities, Adrian Toomes was instead sent away from the universe he was from, ending up in this other, much more poorly written reality, where he was last seen suggesting a team-up with Morbius. But since we're not holding our breaths on that ever being depicted, here's hoping Toomes can just sort of pop back into the MCU at some point, with or without explanation. In the meantime, Spider-Man's next cinematic adventure already looks like it's got plenty to deal with, including Matt Gargan finally returning as his comic book persona, the Scorpion.
Did you miss me, Spidey?
So Adrian and that symbiote may need to keep waiting for another day and another sequel, but we'll find out for sure when Spider-Man Brand New Day hits theaters on July 31st, 2026. Oh yeah, also the Nick Fury and Maria Hill who Peter worked with in Europe, that was really Skrulls, but that reminds us of Secret Invasion, and no one really wants to think about that show again, right? For more on everything Spider-Man Brand New Day, you're already at the right place, IGN.